Project UFO, a choose-your-own-adventure book. Beware and a warning. This book is different from other books. You and you alone are in charge of what happens in this story. There are dangers, choices, adventures, and consequences. You must use all of your numerous talents and much of your enormous intelligence. The wrong decision could end in disaster, even death. But don't despair. At any time, you can go back and make another choice, alter the path of the story, and change its result. You have spent your life communicating telepathically with a trusted friend named Fredo. You know very little about Fredo's life, but you sense that your conversations are becoming increasingly important, not only for Fredo's planet, but for Earth as well. Fredo is sending you messages about the galaxy Calax 3. You've never heard of it, but when you try to get more information, Fredo won't answer. Now, different groups of Earth scientists have started asking you some suspicious questions. How can you help Fredo and the Earth survive? Are you there? This is Fredo. I'm in trouble and I need your... The communication goes dead. You try your best to clear your mind and let Fredo tune in again. Finally, you hear his voice loud and clear. I fear Calax 3. Beware. Then silence again. Ever since you were 5 years old, you have been talking to Fredo and his companions. At first, you would be woken up during your afternoon nap by high-pitched whining sounds like the buzz of mosquitoes. They would occur almost every day. So you began to really pay attention to them. After a while, you could hear distinct voices. Soon, the voices spoke your language. Or maybe you spoke theirs. It didn't really matter. You could understand each other. When you first told your parents about the sounds, they didn't believe you. And when you told them about the voices, they brought you to old Dr. Moleskin, who asked a lot of silly questions and prescribed you lots of fruit juice and no TV for a month. This taught you a quick lesson. Be patient with adults. They think they know everything, but they really don't. Several years ago, you asked Fredo, when are you guys coming down for a visit? Actually, we are visiting right now. You can't see us, but we're working on it. Wow, no wonder there have been so many sightings lately. Hey, how come you guys show up in flying saucers? My dear friend, those aren't our saucers, as you call them. They may be from Calax 3, a planet of warriors and thieves who send attack teams to planets throughout the galaxy. They've been working on new ways to attack. Beware. Since then, you and Fredo have become very close friends. He's always been there to help you with your problems. Now Fredo needs help, and you'd like to be there for him, but there's no way you can get in touch with him. You stare at the walls of your bedroom, which are covered with star charts. You feel helpless. It's no wonder you've become a big science buff, particularly in intelligent communication from outer space. Governments around the world have a huge dish antenna focused on the heavens to pick up any signals. There's one in New Mexico called the Very Large Array. Every now and then, some group claims to have found a message but can't decipher it. Some scientists believe it's all just background noise in the universe caused by stars, supernovas, comets, and black holes. Others say it's just a coincidence and there are no messages at all. But of course, you know better. 2 years ago, you decided to join a small group of amateur astronomers working out of a small observatory. With the help of Fredo, you've been able to offer your team some valuable tips. You would like to tell them about Fredo and Calax 3. It would be such a scientific breakthrough, but you know you have to be cautious. Recently, your astronomy team has gained quite a reputation in scientific circles. Fredo had given you some information about deep space radiation levels and the nature of black holes. You compiled the information into a report for your astronomy group. They were so impressed they submitted it to the National Science Times. Since then, the phone has been ringing off the hook with bigwigs from Washington, D.C., Palo Alto, England, Russia, and China. Suddenly, you've become a minor big deal. During your lunch hour at school one day, you are met by 3 people, 2 women and a man, who claim to be government agents from the Center for Galactic Research. We want you to join our research efforts at our Boulder, Colorado facility, one of them announces. We are probing what we believe are messages from outer space. We need young people with open, inquiring minds. It will be a lot of desk work, a lot of time in front of a computer, but you would make an important contribution to our world. We believe we are onto something big. I'll think it over, you reply. You don't know why you hesitate. Their credentials look real, but some inner feeling makes you a little suspicious of the whole thing. You wonder what the government is really interested in. However, this could be a way of getting in touch with Fredo. Their equipment could be of great help. That night, you get a telephone call from another group, a non-governmental agency called the LifeCom for Intelligent Life Studies, dedicated to flying saucer research. This is a group supported by wealthy individuals from around the world who reject government involvement in scientific research. They realize the government is well established and committed to its efforts, but they think it also keeps important information from the public. You decide to think about the offers from both groups overnight. You know the group of astronomers you've been working with doesn't have the facilities you need to help Fredo. Maybe the government does know more than they're letting on, and could lead you straight to your alien friend. Working for the government is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but then again, you're not so sure they can be trusted. The private group, with their focus on UFO research, might lead you to the Calyx 3 craft, where Fredo might be held captive. You wonder what your friend Fredo would recommend. Either way, if Fredo is really in danger, you've got to do something. If you decide to join the government group, the Center for Galactic Research, and study deep space messages, continue on to page 10. If you decide to go with the private group, the LifeCom for Intelligent Life Studies, and work on flying saucer research, you'll have to check out Choose Your Own Adventure, number 27, Project UFO, by R.A. Montgomery at your local library. You decide to join the Center for Galactic Research. Arrangements are made with your school for a special education release. You will get full credit and work with a tutor at the center. The opportunities will be fantastic, and hopefully you'll be a step nearer to finding Fredo. A week later, you are in Colorado. The front range of the Rockies stands out like a fence rising off the high plains. Boulder lies snuggled up to these beauties. The famous Flatirons, with their broad sun-bathed faces of smooth rock, overlook the town. Bill Pitting, the director of the center, and Holly Hayworth, the head of your project, meet you at Denver's Stapleton Airport. Welcome to Colorado, Bill says, shaking your hand vigorously. He has a lanky physique and a strong handshake. Thanks, I can't wait. But you hardly get an opportunity to talk. Bill just rambles on a mile a minute about frequencies, radio signal emission rates, radioactive decay, so much that your head spins. As Bill turns the car into the main entrance of your government complex, Holly turns to you and says, "I'm really glad you're here. We have set up a special office for you." Something about her seems very familiar, but you know you've never seen her before. She keeps on talking, explaining the different projects and the equipment. Then you realize it's her voice that you know. You concentrate on placing the way she speaks, her words, her grammar, her tone. Then you hit it. Messages that you received from Calyx 3 when you and Fredo were eavesdropping on their frequencies were in a similar tone. But that's impossible, you think. Then she asked, innocently enough, have you ever heard of Plaxton? Instantly, you are on guard. You shake your head. But you know you've heard of Plaxton. You think it's the same name of a Calyx 3 base that Fredo has been trying to pinpoint. You can't be sure, though. Well, it's not important, she continues. If you ever need special help or aid, I'm right down the hall. Your instincts scream at you to scramblino right now. Holly's voice sounds so familiar to the Calyx 3 transmissions that you're starting to freak. On the other hand, you wonder if you're just imagining things or having a strange case of deja vu. If you follow your instincts and flee right now, turn to page 22. If you hold the course and stay, turn to page 35. I'm out of here, you say to yourself. You figure you'll wait until dark when everyone's asleep. Then you can sneak out and make for the bus station. Meanwhile, you have to remain polite and try not to let anyone know about your plan of escape. For the next hour, Holly shows you around the building and finally to your office. Once you see the amazing view of the Rockies from the floor-to-ceiling window and the high-tech computer and your very own telephone, you almost forget about your plans to leave. Imagining yourself as an important government agent, you can't help but chuckle. Holly gives you a long, penetrating look. Sometimes I feel the best time to search the universe is during the early morning hours. Earth is so quiet then. We can really concentrate. Don't you agree, she asks. Sure. Early morning. Great time, you blurt out. Fine. We'll meet in my office at 3 a.m. Might as well start off right, she says in a quiet, commanding tone. You feel as if she has probed your brain and knows everything about you, including your fears and your plan of escape. Claustrophobia of the worst kind hits you. A radical shift in timing is needed. You have to get out of here. But first you have to get to a phone to alert your parents and find out the bus schedule. You don't want to use your office phone in case it's bugged. Fortunately, you are able to find 2 payphones just outside the building. One is out of service, and the other is being used by a fat man who jiggles when he talks. He just chatters away as if nobody's waiting. Annoyed, you wait for what seems like forever, but then it happens. The man turns, and you suddenly realize he has no face. There is only a flat plastic disc where his face should be. You think you must be dreaming. There will be no more faces for you now or ever, the faceless one says to you. I have come to take specimens from this forbidden planet. You look like a fine one. Let's go. With a flick of his wrist, you are engulfed in a cloud of greenish gas and taken away from the time and place you know so well. The voice is familiar. It is a Calyx 3 voice. Let go of me, you shout with all of your force. But it does no good. You're already high above the earth. Your speed increases so that you seem to be exiting the orbit of planets and zooming by stars faster than the speed of light. Where are we going? Who are you, you ask? The creature has changed form now. It resembles a glowing orb. Strangely, you experience no real fear, only a muted curiosity at what is happening to you. Suddenly and without warning, the trip ends. The light turns to dark. With a swooshing sound, you and the light blob descend into a vortex of light and movement. It feels as if you're going down a roller coaster in slow motion. A low rumble, half music, half noise, emanates from the center of the vortex. You like it. It's smoothing. But you wish the creature would communicate with you now. Where are we now, you demand? We are where we should be. Don't ask foolish questions. All will be revealed in time. The form becomes silent, and then begins another transformation. It dims, reduces in size, and becomes almost opaque. A room appears. It seems like any other normal room, but as you examine it, you realize the room has no boundaries, no entrances, and no exits. It is as if the concept of dimension does not exist here. A sense of familiarity intensifies for just a moment and then vanishes. "Are you ready?" chimes the voice. "Ready? Ready for what?" you reply, surprised that you are not frightened. "Don't play games. You have tempted the fates. You have lured us to pick you up. Are you ready?" You scan your memory, trying to come up with some instance when you might have tempted the fates. Maybe you played too many video games and now some creature from the deepest tunnels has emerged to get you. "No, that's foolish," you tell yourself. "This is probably just a dream." Turn to page 36. But you realize the voice is waiting for an answer. You feel it closing in on you. What if you just ignored it, you wonder? This could just be a game. If you decide to follow the voice, turn to page 48. If you decide to ignore the voice, turn to page 38.
Well, I'm ready, I guess. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to be ready for, but I'll take a chance. Your voice is thin and reedy. There's a sense of density in your response and a feeling of helplessness. You feel you no longer have any control over what might happen, so you just wait. But nothing happens. "Well, how about it? I can't wait forever, you say. "These things take time," the voice responds. "The trouble with you earthlings is that you want everything right here and now. That just isn't always possible. Hold on. You don't want me to make a mistake, do you?" "What do you mean mistake?" you ask, envisioning some horrendous crash of a super duper electronic device that would turn you into a gigaflop of disconnections. Wait, I've almost got it. The voice sounds quite positive and happy now. You also notice that the endless room has changed. It is now a self-duplicating fourth-dimensional grid. On top of the grid is an overlay of color and music. You can actually see the music. It looks like syrup that pours down and coats part of the grid. It is colored like a neon lamp, but the colors keep shifting and changing. It's hypnotizing. Turn to page 54.
You decide to ignore the voice. You wait. Nothing happens. No noise, no warmth, no light, nothing. Time has frozen, it seems, and with it, space has retreated. Send this one back. This one is a reject. "Hey, wait a minute," you yell. "I was only kidding. I'm ready to go now." You are amazed to hear yourself say this. You wanted to go back home, and here's your chance. But to your surprise, you are refusing. Too late. Suddenly, you feel your body being sucked up through a dark vacuum. You feel as though you are suffocating. All of your body functions are slowing down, even though you're traveling at an accelerated speed. Each moment seems to last forever. Childhood memories flow through your mind, calming you. You think about your parents and Fredo. Fredo! You remember your plan to rescue Fredo. What are you doing out here? We've got work to do. You realize Holly is talking to you. You're confused. Are you ready? She asks. For what, you wonder? The end.
The colors are really swirling now. From light to dark, dark that spangles of silver and gold, spangles to starburst, and starburst to rainbows. Wow, you exclaim. This is some kind of cosmic MTV, like liquid TV. You're the DJ or the host or something, right? Wrong. That was a malfunction. But don't worry, you'll be all right. I'll have her fixed in a jiffy, the voice answers. The light show calms down, the music and the colors fade, and things return to normal. It's like being inside of a boring, rainy day. Well, come on, I'm waiting. You persist. Fredo, where are you when I need you? You mumble, hoping this creature isn't from Calyx 3. I think I've got it this time, the voice replies. You are lifted, turned around, and spun as though you are being pureed in a food processor. You feel yourself coming apart. Well, maybe I don't have it yet. This isn't exactly what I wanted, the voice said quietly. Exactly what do you want? You ask, feeling terribly uncomfortable in your new, disconnected state of being. To tell you the truth, I wasn't quite sure. I've never dealt with one of your type before. I'm new at this game, I mean. Don't get upset or anything. I'm what you might call an apprentice. Yikes, you mean to tell me you goons dragged me off to this forsaken spot and you don't even know what you want to do with me? Ah, Fredo, where are you? Calm down, give me a break. I'm trying my best, so I'm a bit sloppy. I just need practice. Nothing is ever perfect the first time, the being explains. Do you know Fredo too? I thought Fredo was a secret agent. Listen here, buddy. Get my body back to normal, please, and hurry up. No mistakes this time, you order. You feel your anger rising. Okay, hold your breath, I'll try, says the voice. While you are busy worrying, the voice begins to take shape. It looks amazingly like a scrawny kid you knew back in the 3rd grade. No, it can't be, you think to yourself. That kid, Aldo Archibald Fitmouse, was famous for being a klutz. You remember how he couldn't even open his lunchbox without untying his shoelaces and dropping his cell phone. There's a smell of an old sneaker burning, and then a bright flicker. You are back in one piece. Standing before you is a creature that looks like Aldo Fithouse. He turns to you with a big smile on his face. See, I'm not so bad. I got you back together, didn't I? Suddenly you hear an entirely different voice that fills both of you with dread. Aldo? Oh, Aldo, where are you? Are you finished with that thing you dragged home from that filthy planet Earth? It echoes. Aldo begins to shrink right in front of you. His eyes radiate fear. Who's that, Aldo? You ask, ignoring his latest transformation. It's Lepidoptero. People call him Lepto for short. He's famous around here for torturing bugs and things, and he's always minding everyone else's business. Let's get out of here. Wait a minute, Aldo, where can we go? And how do I get back home? Oh yeah, I forgot. You're a gloob from Earth. Well, you help me and I'll help you. How? You ask. Things are getting out of hand. Now you are in the middle of a giant forest of trees with bright bluish foliage that looks metallic. You're nosy and impatient, Aldo replies. I'll tell you exactly how to help. But first, you need to agree to a secret pact. Secret pact? Are you nuts or something? We don't have time for a club meeting, you reply. Well, it's my way or no way. Lepto is coming and he'll be furious. you'll only irritate him. And when he's mad, he's mad. So it's the secret pact or face the consequences. Now you're really annoyed. Why should you agree to some secret pact Aldo won't even tell you about? He could be up to anything. You're tempted to just run away, far away. But as soon as you look around, you're not so sure you want to make your escape in a giant metallic forest, especially with Lepto lurking about. You have no choice but to agree to this secret pact. Okay, Aldo, old buddy. What is the secret pact business? I'm ready, but let's hurry, you say, already fearing Lepto's arrival. Aldo smiles, a kid-like smile of victory. Follow me. Do exactly what I say. I mean exactly. Don't miss a step or a move or you'll be sorry. This pact will give me some of Earth's powers and you some of my planet's powers. He draws a pattern on the forest floor with a branch from one of the trees. Then he moves quickly and precisely in a series of steps that resembles a dance routine from an oldie sock hop. The Aldo Fit Mouse you remember from 3rd grade never moved with such grace. You follow him as best you can, but it isn't easy. Finally, he stops. Okay, here's the hard part. You must join hands like this. He folds his arms into a complicated arm wrestling move, and then he unfolds them. He produces a silver cup. Then we must drink from this cup. The cup is filled with the most disgusting liquid you have ever seen or smelled. It looks like a failed biology experiment from your 2nd grade class on a tadpole. Frog growth. Yuck. I'm not going to drink that, you say, revolted by the sight and smell of the liquid in the cup. Now or never. Lepto is coming, Aldo warns. He has already slurped up some of the foul stuff. A black dribble of fluid runs down his chin. Okay, here goes. You raise the cup, put it to your lips, tip it ever so slightly, and pretend to drink. You're cheating, Aldo exclaims. I can tell. Are all you earthlings so dishonest and cowardly? Hey, don't insult me. I didn't ask to come here, you fire back. Oh yeah? Who says? You came here because you really wanted to, and don't deny it. Oh yeah? Prove it, you say, getting really angry. I can, and you'll be sorry, Aldo replies. You sense a deep threat in his tone. I know about your special pact with the dark force. I know you promised the force your loyalty. If only you could travel to other planets, don't deny it. You asked for special, and I mean special help. Hey, I was only kidding around. I didn't mean anything, and it wasn't a dark force anyways. I just wished really hard that I could search the planets for my friend Fredo. That's all. Nothing more. Don't get touchy. If you don't want your mind to be read, then you really shouldn't have those thoughts in the first place, Aldo says in a peevish voice. Whether you know it or not, this place is a figment of your imagination. You created it, not me. But watch out. I hear old Lepto coming. The sound of drums and rumbling of trains reverberate in the distance. The forest sky darkens as if thunderstorms were approaching. The wind in the metallic branches increases. You glance at Aldo, tip the cup, and drink the evil-looking liquid. Ugh! This tastes like drain pipe water, you exclaim. At that very instant, Lepto arrives, towering over the metallic trees. This monster creature looks like a blown-up version of a big bully who used to tease you at school. Run, Aldo shouts. The potion will give you super speed. Run. One last look at Lepto standing above you is all it takes. You command your feet to move. Coward, Lepto thunders. Lepto's slur hits home. How dare he call you a coward, you think? But it's obvious you're scared. He's testing you. He wants you to run away like a coward. And if you stay, he could put you through any sort of intolerable pain. Either way, you're doomed, you think. Coward, 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 Lepto taunts. If you stay and confront Lepto, turn to page 77. If you run, turn to page 98. Gathering up every last ounce of belief in yourself, you stay put. I'm no coward, Lepto. You're a bully and you know it. Bullies are the biggest cowards of all. Pick on someone your own size. You start marching straight for the giant feet. You are ready to fight. As you advance, a strange and marvelous thing happens. You feel yourself expand. First your feet, then your legs, then your body and arms and hands, and finally your head. Within seconds, you are towering above Lepto, who shrinks smaller and smaller until he's almost lost among the roots of the metallic trees. Now your head is above the forest, touching the clouds. Aldo, where are you? You ask. Your voice is mellow and soft. What happened to you? Aldo asks, peeping out from behind the metallic tree. Turn to page 104. I just found my strength. I don't have to be afraid of old Lepto or any bullies. And neither do you. Lepto doesn't wait around to find out about your plans for him. Actually, you hadn't planned to do anything to Lepto. You're no bully. But you do feel a twinge of delight when you realize that he was frightened enough to flee. No one has ever stood up to Lepto. To Aldo, you're a magical hero. It's time to go home. Before Aldo zaps you back to Earth, you make another secret pact. One in which you promise to embark on another space adventure with him sometime soon. Once you find Fredo. You run with all your might, legs pounding, arms pumping, gasping for breath. The faster you run, the closer Lepto seems to get. Just when he's right on your heels and about to crush you, you get a burst of speed. His big toe grazes you. Soon, you're way ahead of him, but you realize you're right on his heels. You're running in circles. Slow down, you think, but not too much, or he'll catch up. What can I do, Aldo? You cry out. Overcome your fear, he answers. Easier said than done. Aldo, help me, you cry. There is no reply. You're tired. You can't take it anymore. You stop. Lepto lets out a huge bellowing laugh. Turn to page 102. Got you now, he shouts, and the metallic trees wither at the sound of his voice. You hear a humming sound, low, soft, but persistent. On instinct, you go towards it. There in the base of a giant metal tree trunk is an opening. The sound is coming from the opening. You step cautiously forward. The nearer you get, the louder the humming begins. Now it sounds like the buzz of a million bees. Open the door, comes a command from far in the distance. For a moment you hesitate. Lepto moves ponderously forward, backward, and sideways. The light from the sun is blocked. Darkness fills the forest. I've got you, you pint-sized coward, Lepto says scornfully. Ignoring him, you force yourself to move. You grasp the handle of the door in the tree trunk. A sudden flash of light, along with a swarm of escaping metallic bees, knocks you down. Millions of them fill the air and rush to attack Lepto. He screams in agony, "Let me go!" It is too late for Lepto. The metallic bees have got him. It's horrifying to watch. Now you really wish you could help the pitiful creature. With this wish comes an idea. You can divert the bees by attacking their nest. Turn to page 120. From a distance, you hurl several rocks into the nest. It works. Lepto is quickly freed from his tormentors. Oddly, he begins to shrink until he reaches your height. With tears welling, he looks you straight in the eyes. Thank you, he says humbly. You feel a sense of warmth and goodness. Lepto just stands there, waiting for a response, and you realize he's never looked so vulnerable. You don't know what to say. Reluctantly, Lepto offers you his hand. Smiling, you reach to shake it. Once your hands meet, poof, Lepto's gone. Instantly, you realize that he zapped you back to Earth. The end.
You decide to stay for the time being, and as Pitting and Holly show you around, nothing seems especially out of the ordinary. You might even have a lot of fun here. Great. I really like this office. Kids don't usually get to have their own offices. You say, spinning yourself around in the swivel leather chair. You're amazed at the fantastic view you have of the Rockies from the floor-to-ceiling window, and your very own telephone and computer. Well, out here we don't see any difference between kids and adults. It's performance that counts, and you've got the smarts. At least that's what I hear. Deal? Pitting says, holding out his hand. Deal, you reply, shaking his hand. Oddly, Holly does not shake. She moves quickly onto her office. See you tomorrow, she says. Pitting opens up your desk and explains the communication system and the computer link. You have the new 3D screen and voice-activated internet connection. People from dozens of countries are all trying to get in contact with other cosmic civilizations. One argument explaining the lack of contact so far is that if we, as a civilized human beings, can't carry a comprehensive dialogues with whales and dolphins, then how do we expect to communicate with extraterrestrials? Turn to page 39. You never really looked at it that way. To you, communicating with aliens is no problem. Interrupting your thoughts, Pitting says, the offices are open 24 hours a day. You'll always find people here. I don't know what your work habits are, but don't worry. You do what works for you. Thanks, Pitting, you reply. Hey, none of that doctor business. Call me Pitt. The day flies by, and by night, sleep is a welcome relief. You are exhausted from all the new experiences, but at 2:22 a.m., you wake up. Something about Holly and the Calyx 3 connection makes you uneasy and suspicious. Instinct urges you to check out your office. You sneak out of your room in the thin light of the gibbous moon and make your way across the quadrangle between the housing section and the offices. The night watchman is barely awake and doesn't notice you. The entrance to the office is spooky. There's a digital clock requiring 3 codes, beginning with your own personal code, then departmental code, and then a random number generated daily, and left on your personal voicemail. It takes you a few minutes to familiarize yourself with the system, but the lock finally yields. Contrary to what Pitt said, there are no other people in the office at this hour. You wonder why, but soon put the thought aside. The door to your office is ajar, and the computer is on. What's going on? You exclaim out loud. Your voice echoes in the empty office. Don't be afraid. Keep calm. Talk in a low whisper. Comes the command. It seems to be coming right from the computer. Who are you? You manage to squeak. Have you already forgotten? Comes back the reply. Fredo, it's you! Fredo, you're back! You rejoice. Sorry to have been away for so long. I'll explain later. Right now, a shadow falls across your desk. Slowly, you turn to look up into Holly's face. She does not smile. Who were you talking to? She asks. Myself, you reply, thinking quickly. Just talking out loud. Quite a conversation, I'd say. Let's take a look at your computer. Well, it's really nothing, you continue, reaching over and clicking the computer off. You hope that Fredo has gotten the message. I think you're hiding something, Holly continues. Want to tell me? Why would you want to confide in Holly about Fredo? But then again, she might be well connected and be able to lead you to Fredo. You don't know what to do. You can't stand the way she's glaring at you. If you decide not to tell her about Fredo, turn to page 44. Well, Holly, you say, hoping you can throw her off guard, I actually do have a slight problem. I talk to myself. I don't really like to discuss it, though. You see, I've never really considered it a serious problem, but it's always been a major concern for my parents. They think I'm sick or something. They sent me to dozens of doctors, psychiatrists, and everyone came up with different diagnoses. Now, they don't know what to do. For the time being, they've given up on this whole therapy thing. You keep talking as fast as you can, hoping that Holly will lose interest in you. This strategy is usually something that works quite well with adults. Actually, I'm really very normal. I'm up on hip-hop, rap, soul, sports. Just ask me anything about basketball, baseball, football, pro wrestling. By the way, do you know anything about foot problems, Holly? That's the one thing I need to learn more about. Can you just imagine all the little bones that make up just one foot? I was watching this program on TV and... Stop it. I've heard enough, Holly says. Turn to page 61. You blink and fix with a surprised stare. Your tactic seems to work. So sorry I interrupted you, she says. She gives you a strange look, as if you're out of your mind. You're not sure whether she believes you or not, but she doesn't press you on any issue any further. Go ahead with your conversation. I'm leaving. Oh, by the way, there seems to be heavy traffic in one sector of the universe headed this way, she adds, then pauses to see if you rise to the bait. You know, Holly, I'm so new at this game that I don't even know what you mean. Would you mind showing me? I mean, how do I get into this whole thing? You look up at her, again with wonder and expectation. Not now. I'm sorry. You'll just have to learn on your own. She storms out of the room, and you hear her footsteps retreating to the elevator at the end of the hallway. Thank heavens she's gone, you whisper. You can say that again, Fredo says. Boy, am I glad you're back. You really had me scared. I thought you were dead or something. Well, to tell you the truth, I was, Fredo says in a solemn voice. You were what? You say incredulously. I was dead. The Calyx 3 mob got me and my crew in a fierce little intergalactic space battle. They jumped us, dry gulched us, as I think you people call it. When? Where? You ask. Oh, you don't really want me to go through it all. You Earth people know more about wars and destruction than I can ever tell you. It's more humane, no pun intended, in space. Once they zapped us, we just ceased to exist. Basically, they took over. They became us, and we became them. We were consumed. That's all there is to it. Everything he tells you does not compute. But, Fredo, how did you just come back to life? I mean, if you ceased to exist, how did you get back to whatever you are? What are you now? Let's just say I'm a very active memory without any physical form. Calyx 3 is on a rampage, searching the universe for a new crop of workers. Right now, they're working on collecting Earthlings. So in order to fight them, I would need an Earth-form body. Do you think you can help me? I don't know, Fredo. I really don't understand everything that's going on. It's very complex, but just trust me. If you don't want to help me take on an Earth form body, that's okay. But come with me anyway. With your help, I know Calyx 3 can be defeated. What do you say? Sensing urgency in Fredo's voice, you realize you need to make a decision quickly. There shouldn't be any harm in joining Fredo. In fact, this is your opportunity to finally meet him face to face and check out his world. Suddenly, though, a thought occurs to you. This guy could be an imposter. It could be Calyx 3. Now things are really spinning in your head. If this is really Fredo, there's no way you can turn on him now. You've got to join him. But you don't necessarily have to help him take on an Earth form body. If you trust this guy to be Fredo and want him to take on an Earth form body, turn to page 72. If you agree to join Fredo despite your skepticism that he might be an imposter, turn to page 78. So how can I help you become like a human, Fredo? Is it going to be very different from what you are? You ask. Yes and no. Essentially, an Earthling is a replicable life form that is made out of more than 70% water, some minerals and other junk, and energized into life. Fredo pauses, then continues. Where I come from, there is no water. We're assembled by a committee directed by elders, and we can be deactivated at any time. Can you have kids? You ask. Not really. We can submit design specifications. We do develop a fondness for those we're involved with, but it isn't the same as it appears on Earth. That's sad. I mean, not having your own family and people like brothers and sisters. Don't feel sorry for us. It's just a different way of life. There are other rewards. But I do envy you and your pleasant, simple lives. Simple? Are you crazy? Our lives aren't simple. Look at our world. You call that simple? You demand, quite agitated. I apologize, my dear Earthling. Things are rarely as they appear. You just don't know how difficult things are where I come from. Well, that's enough of that. Let's see if we can get you into an Earthling body. Any preferences? You ask. Well, now that you ask, I do have some ideas, Fredo tells you. Let's hear them, you reply. Well, I was thinking that it might be nice to be an NBA basketball star. Say playing for the Bullets or the Sonics. I rather like the size and form. And I really appreciate the way they can fly. Well, you'd certainly be conspicuous in that form. Any other choices? You ask hopefully. Yes, I think maybe a rap artist would be nice. How about one of your TV anchors? Get real, Fredo. You're picking unrealistic Earth creatures. Can't you just settle for some school kid with braces or a mom with 3 kids or something simple, you suggest? But I want to experience what Earth is all about, Fredo pleads. I've got an idea, Fredo. Why don't you just settle for a 14-year-old kid, okay? If you insist. Let's do it. But wait a minute. How? You ask. Caught you, snarls Harley, entering the room armed with a strange-looking device. Okay, Fredo. He knew this whiz kid would lead you to us. Don't migrate. Dardian is all around. As you watch, Holly begins to change her form. Her skin slows off, revealing a scaly green covering. Her hair slips down over a metallic ball fitted with a row of shining lights. Her arms, legs, feet, hands disappear. Before you hovers a terrifying and unique-looking creature quivering with energy. Dardian may well be here, Suprana, but I did not come alone this time, Fredo says. I've got Zippo, waiting in the ether. Ready, Zippo? There is a slight moaning sound. Probably Zippo replying in the affirmative. You try to slip back, edging near the door. Frito speaks to you. Go. Zippo and I are holding Soprana in a force field. You have 83 seconds to exit. Do not turn back. Hurry. You're on your own. If you take advantage of the 83-second grace period, make tracks by turning to page 4. If you decide to stay and help Frito in his fight with this creature, turn to page 91. Adios, Frito, you shout and begin to make tracks for the door. There's no sense in getting involved. As you reach the door, zap! You can't move. You are locked in a state of suspended animation. That should hold you until I'm through with this creep, Soprana chortles. It could be a long, long time. Enjoy. The end. I'm staying, Fredo. No way am I leaving you here. A very foolish move, my young earthworm, Soprana says. The green, scaly surface of our oddly shaped body sheds its scales and becomes a shiny metallic surface. It seems to radiate heat. Don't listen to Soprana, Frito commands. No, don't listen to Frito. You earthlings don't know the first thing about any of us. You all insist on learning the hard way. Don't you get it? Frito and I might be from different sectors of the cosmos, but we are the same. We are here on a stupid little planet to cultivate a brand new colony. You are in our power. While Soprana is babbling away, you're able to sneak back to the computer and gain access to the databank. You bring up alien life forms on the screen and begin to search. Hey, stay away from the computer, earthworm, Soprana shouts. You do not move, hoping that Frito will interfere. This will be a big test. Will he show you the true colors of a friend? Or has Frito been using you all along? Access extraterrestrial Calyx 3, Frito says. You search the menu and click on extraterrestrial Calyx 3. A box opens up and offers a short profile on the inhabitants of the remote galactic zone, many millions of light years from Earth. Skimming the text, you stumble on a section that reads, Calyx 3 inhabitants are weakened by the use of daylight simulators. Their underdeveloped pineal gland becomes overstimulated and they are returned to the state of relative harmlessness. Do it, Frito says. I can't hold on much longer. I've got Soprana in a mind net, but it's weakening quickly. Okay, you reply. Your only trouble is to find the daylight simulator. But then you realize all you need is light. Any old light will do, as long as it's not the light from the computer. You remember that Hollywood tinted glasses. You move to the wall switches. There are 5 of them in a neat little row right by the door. Don't do it, Soprana pleads. And for a moment you hesitate. Then slowly you reach up and push the first switch. Then the next, and the next, until the whole room is flooded with bright, harsh light. Soprana seems to shudder, shrink, and becomes smaller by increments. Loud sobbing fills the room. Near the desk where the computer stands, you become aware of a faint outline. As Soprana shrinks, that outline begins to fill in part by part. I'm doing it, Frito says. Suddenly, a blurry humanoid being stands before you. It's Frito. Instinctively, you both reach to shake hands. As you are about to make contact, Frito's new earth form dissolves. This is enough for tonight, my young friend. Tell no one. Let's go back to your home. I want you to really experience earthling life. I won't cause any trouble. Years later, the Nobel Peace Prize for Physics is awarded to you for advanced space and life studies. Thanks to Frito, you've been able to contribute valuable knowledge that has widely increased the tolerance for all life forms. Sure, I'll join you, Frito, you say. I knew you would. Great, get ready. Hold very still. Try not to breathe now. There's a humming sound. followed by a glimmer of purple light that bathes you in a coat of energy. Okay? Frito asks. Wait, what's going on? You shout, but Frito can't hear you over the buzz. Increasing power levels. Tell me if it's too much. You feel a tingly electric charge starting through your fingers. Slowly it reaches your head and then your toes. Be still. Hold very quiet. No movement. Frito speaks in a calm, reassuring voice. Hey, it's beginning to hurt, you say, almost sure now that joining Frito was a deadly choice. What? Yells Frito. My skin is stretching, or my bones are shrinking. My brain feels like it's on fire. Yikes, help! Too much. Sorry. We're at the point of no return. If we stop now, you could be permanently damaged. If we go ahead, you'll probably make it. Can you stand more? If you decide to stop now, turn to page 121. If you decide to go ahead and risk it, turn to page 99. Stop, Fredo, stop. I can't stand it. Your brain is frying. Okay, I'll stop. I hope you will be all right. The pain eases. Your brain cools down. The purple light recedes. Fredo, Fredo, where are you? You yell. There is no reply. You have no sense of space or motion. Your only hope is that Fredo will be able to undo the changes, but perhaps your instincts were right. Maybe Fredo was an imposter. Maybe you're being held captive by Calyx 3. It seems as if you'll never know the real truth. The end. You decide to go ahead and risk continuing Fredo's experiment. You can bear the pain, but you hope you haven't been too impulsive. If this guy is an imposter, you're easy prey now. The pain increases. You feel your bones creak and groan from the strain, which seems to be like a rapid increase in gravity. Your blood thickens to the consistency of a heavy, coarse soup. It is sluggish in your veins, and you are contracting. Your capillaries scream for relief. Suddenly, you feel a shift in energy. Fredo, I made it! You exclaim, exiting the purple light. You step into a sun-filled world that reflects a million images of radiant flowers in all stages of growth. You hear water, the roar of the sea, and the coursing of a stream. No clouds obscure the deep yellow sky. What now, Fredo? You ask. Looking down at your body, you notice that you are wearing a garment of the finest material you could have ever come across. It appears to be made out of ground seashells. Relax, my friend, relax. We are about to start our journey back to my dear Adon, at the center of the known universe. You will be welcome there. You are only the third creature from Earth that we have ever successfully brought back. Why me? You ask. You were chosen. You are a superb specimen, intelligent, courageous, and just... Now away we must go. But what about Calyx 3? You ask. We'll worry about that later. Let's go celebrate. I want you to meet all my friends and see my home. The end.